African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of July 23, 2025. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue to conduct a special military operation. Units of the North Group of Forces, as a result of active actions, liberated the settlement of Varachino in the Sumy region. The manpower and equipment of 2 mechanized, 2 airborne assault, a Ranger brigades and 2 assault regiments of the armed forces of Ukraine were defeated in the areas of the settlements of Yasterbine, Varachino, Rizevka, Khotin, and Unikovka in the Sumy region. In the Kharkiv direction, units of a mechanized brigade and an assault regiment of the armed forces of Ukraine were defeated in the areas of the settlements of Velikiy Berlek and Garbuzi in the Kharkiv region that the Ukrainian armed forces lost up to 165 servicemen, 7 vehicles, 5 artillery pieces, and an electronic warfare station. A warehouse of material was destroyed. Units of the West Group of Forces improved the situation along the front line. Formations of 4 mechanized and assault brigades of the Ukrainian armed forces were defeated in the areas of the settlements of Izium, Andriivka in the Kharkiv region, Karpovka, Shendrigolovo, and Drobashevo in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy's losses amounted to more than 250 servicemen, 2 combat armored vehicles, 10 vehicles, a multiple launch rocket system, and 2 Western-made field artillery pieces. 2 electronic warfare stations and 2 ammunition depots were destroyed. Units of the Southern Group of Forces took up more advantageous lines and positions. The manpower and equipment of 2 mechanized, mountain assault, airmobile brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine and a National Guard brigade were defeated in the areas of the settlements of Zvanovka, Serebryanka, Oleksandro Kalinovo of the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost up to 145 servicemen, 2 vehicles, a Western-made multiple launch rocket system, and an artillery piece. Units of the Center Group of Forces improved their tactical position. Defeat was inflicted on formations of 3 mechanized and airborne brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, 2 territorial defense brigades, and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements of Oktyabrskoye, Suvarovo, Rodinskoye, Stepanovka, Poltavka, Artima, and Krasnoarmeysk of the Donetsk People's Republic. The losses of the Ukrainian armed forces amounted to 405 servicemen, an armored combat vehicle, a car, 2 multiple launch rocket systems, and 4 artillery pieces. Units of the East Troop Group continued to advance deep into the enemy's defense. Defeat was inflicted on the personnel and equipment of 3 mechanized brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements of Iskra, Podobnoye in the Donetsk People's Republic, Velikomikhailovka in the Dnipropetrovsk region, and Timirovka in the Zaporizhia region. The armed forces of Ukraine lost up to 200 servicemen, 4 armored combat vehicles, 13 cars, 3 artillery guns, a radio-electronic warfare station, and 2 ammunition depots. Units of the Dnieper Troop Group inflicted damage on formations of a mechanized brigade of the armed forces of Ukraine and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements of Slavno in the Zaporizhia region and Pervomeyskoye in the Kherson region. Up to 55 servicemen, 1 armored combat vehicle, 3 cars, 4 radio-electronic warfare stations, and 4 ammunition depots were destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the armed forces of the Russian Federation troop groups affected damage on a Ukrainian military-industrial complex enterprise, a drone assembly workshop, command points for long-range unmanned aerial vehicles, fuel and missile artillery weapon depots, as well as temporary deployment points of Ukrainian formations and foreign mercenaries in 149 areas. Air defense means shot down 6 guided aerial bombs, a reactive projectile of the U.S.-made HIMARS multiple launch rocket system, a long-range guided missile Neptune, as well as 256 fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles. Since the beginning of the special military operation, the following have been destroyed in total: 664 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 71,978 unmanned aerial vehicles, 622 anti-aircraft missile systems, 24,305 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,581 multiple launch rocket system vehicles, 27,725 field artillery guns and mortars, 38,596 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.